Hello everyone, this is the Crusader Historian. I am back to you with another video, and I'll be honest, as much as I want to finish my series on the Russian-Ukrainian war, I feel like it's important. It is rather draining, and for me to edit everything, edit, put everything together and research everything, and I need to take a break. But I still want to give out some content to you guys, so I thought that I will give you of videos about different topics, and hopefully you will like them. I enjoyed putting this one together. Anyway, we are going to talk again about a topic that's near to my heart, the Crusades. But we are going to talk about the origins of the Crusades, kind of particularly because as much as many people are noticing what happened, good news scholarship, there's still some misconceptions about it. Anyway, the topic of this video actually comes from a little report or something from I think it looks like a lesson plan of a teacher at my university, Utah State University. Utah State University. I personally would recommend that school. It's a wonderful school. It's very good, but the faculty there is not perfect. I mean, no one is. I mean, at least in the history category, though. Great culture, great culture. But, well, anyway, so I was taking a look, mosey around the internet, because that's what you happen to do, and I saw this, and it kind and I outlined what caught my attention. It is, in the end, almost no one gained anything of worth from the Crusades. They diminished not only the Pope's credibility as a spiritual leader, but also the Europeans' hope of expansion, along with their general acceptance of cultural diversity. The Crusades are, in many ways, Europe's lost weekend. I disagree with that, but in order for me to tell you why I disagree with that, we need to talk about why the Crusades started. This is the world before Islam, or before Islam became a world power. As you can see, the Middle East and much of the area which is now known as the Islamic world was dominated by two superpowers, the Christian Byzantine Empire to the west and the Zoroastrian and Sassanid Persian Empire to the east. These two empires had a rivalry with each other, and they often fought over this area, right? Often fought over this area right here. The Byzantines wanted to maintain it, the Sassanids wanted to expand in honor of the Persian Empire of the past. After the two sides fought a war which ruined both sides, Islam emerged, exploding out of the continent. Islam wiped out the Sassanid Empire and greatly weakened the Byzantine Empire. And I want you to remember this because I am going to read what this article which inspired this video said. With that in mind, this is another concern for this author. As I told you previously, there was a legitimate concern about the fate of Christendom from the rest of Europe. This group of people exploded out of nowhere, humbled two of the most powerful empires, and that was a problem. But what this guy says is he talks about the Seljuk Turks, Muslim Huns or Muslim jihaders. They were more warlike, yes. There were problems with strained relations, and to leverage things as and basically embellish things. Here's the things. The author was ignorant of the way he sounded like this. It is like they had a fight and they just did not do anything with each other. But there were pilgrimages going to Jerusalem. So, and there were horror stories about Christians being persecuted there. Furthermore, there were interactions between medieval Europe and Greece. There were some interactions with trade, and also some warriors from medieval Europe fought as mercenaries. Europe was not the last option. Alexios saw the European knights in battle and knew they were powerful. That's why he wanted them on his side. Also, it's like he asked, like, fair to say it was the Christian Church of the West promotion of bloodshed. No, this is not correct at all. It was at this point, up until this point, and I will get to this later, there is a reason why the church in the West did not do very much about the Holy Land. That is a fair question, though. If people were concerned about horror stories, why did it take this long for the Crusades to be called? That is a fair question, but I will answer it later. This one is not too correct. I mean, it has some truth to it. By the last crusade, many in Europe had come to see the Pope as just another warmongering king. There were, and I think he is alluding to the Protestant movement, but this is not correct. There were other factors like excessive diseases, and that also caused concerns. The benefits outlet for Europe's youth and aggression. Yes, Europe's population exploded, but that's not the early cause. Yes, trade was thought of, but it mostly benefited the Italian city-states. If you look at the people who went on crusade, they were not these younger knights that had nothing to do. Although some joined, most of the people who went were people who had property back home. These people were people that strongly believed in Christendom, loved it, were devout enough, and wanted to fight and protect it. So, again, this is the world that existed before the Crusades when Islam was advancing. This land was predominantly Christian. This land, although not Christian, had a significant Christian minority. And there were Christians and Jews living in here. This has been forgotten. Now, back to answer your question, the question of why did it take so long for the Crusades to happen, they were worried about the Christians in Europe were worried about different things. They had Vikings from the north, they had raids from all over the place, and nomadic tribes coming from this direction. The kingdoms that had the strength to do this, to do long-term projects, were still being formed. But there were already attempts to try to retake at least the Holy Lands. Let me introduce you to the Byzantine Emperor John Tizimiscus. He was the first recorded Byzantine emperor to attempt to launch an expedition to retake Jerusalem, and he actually used a lot of Crusader language in his attempts to get support. He said, this is a holy war, we must recover the city of Christianity for God, we must liberate it. What happened to him? Well, he did well initially, but he stopped short somewhere around outside of Jerusalem before he failed, and it did not work. So, it was a failed attempt, but it was still an attempt. Nonetheless, this influenced Christendom. Us in the modern world, I feel like we have shorter memories than that of our ancestors. Our ancestors have a long memory because their families regularly tell stories of what happened. And these talk received a fever pitch when the Battle of Manzikert happened. This was the battle where the Byzantines not just failed to recapture former Christian lands, they lost. They lost badly. It was this battle where the Emperor Alexios was like, okay, we need some help. So, why is this important? With what the writer was saying, he talked about the Crusades like an unprovoked attack. But in reality, it was not unprovoked. It was another phase in a war between the Christian and Islamic powers. Furthermore, I would say I think Christendom was in danger of failing, or you could say it. We had the benefit of hindsight, but right then and there, many Christians thought their religion was on danger because they were beset from all sides. I will admit I was looking for an excuse to talk about the Crusades. I mean, my video was my channel was called The Crusader Historian, and it's been a while since I did a crusade video on this channel. And when I came across that article, I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. I didn't like what the writer was saying. Europe was not backward. It was actually going through a renaissance before the Crusades. And believe it or not, but Muslim powers at the time saw the Crusades as just another phase in a conflict with the Byzantines and did not think too much about it. We did not, to be honest, they did not think too much of it until the post-World War II era when we started. It was a bunch of people that's like say, hey, sorry about the Crusades, and the Muslims were like, wait, what? And some of the wrong people thought we could use it. And I mean, people like Osama bin Laden thought, hey, we could use this to garner up support. I will say, at the very least, the Crusades brought Christendom in Europe time to solidify. Yes, they failed. Well, I shouldn't say failed, but yes, they did not succeed in the end. But what it did was it bought Christendom's time. Remember, this is the Middle East during the time of the Third Crusade. As you can see, a lot of the nations that we know of are starting to form, or at least their origins. They are still kingdoms right now, but their origins are still there. The Byzantine Empire has recovered somewhat, and so yeah, basically we would not be here if it weren't for the Crusades. America would not be here if it were not for the Crusades, because the Islamic world and the Western world are two different worlds. We have different values. Before I get a lot of people that are going to be upset, but I have a question. How many liberal, progressive people exist in the Islamic world? Not very many. There's a lot living in here. I will be honest, I am not a liberal, progressive person. I am more conservative, but stuff like freedom of speech, freedom of press, um, equal relations between men and women, that is a Christendom concept. The Islamic world has nothing like that. The stuff they get is from being educated in the West. And you can argue it is a form of European imperialism. You have the right to think of. But bottom line is, the Crusades were not a war of an unprovoked attack. It was just another phase in a war between Christian powers struggling to survive and Islamic powers expanding their dominion, and vice versa. And this is my source for the article. For my video, I read Andrea and Holt's 7 Myths of the Crusades. It's a wonderful book. It's one of my personal favorites. I recommend you read it for yourself. Of course, if you want, I will be. There are several. I'm more than happy to go over each of the myths and have a video of each of the myths. If you would like, please let me know down below. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and thank you for your time. Bye.